Don Jr.'s girlfriend Kimberly Guilfoyle shared personal photos of male genitalia with Fox News co-workers, complained Jeanine Pirro was too old for TV and emotionally abused staff prior to exit, say sources. Kimberly Guilfoyle had been at the center of a human resources investigation at Fox News for a year prior to her departure from the network, according to HuffPost, in a bombshell expose. The claims in the report come from interviews conducted over the course of the past year with 21 sources inside and outside Fox News and 21st Century Fox, all of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity. Among the more shocking claims from these sources are that Guilfoyle viciously attacked female hosts at the network, including Judge Jeanine Pirro and the since-departed Megyn Kelly, made company employees cater to her makeup and hair needs before attending events outside works, and that she shared personal photos of male genitalia with her co-workers. 6 sources said that Guilfoyle's decision to share those photos was part of that human resources investigation, while also revealing that the 49-year-old mother of one would even identify the man whose genitals she was showcasing at the time. Multiple sources also said that Guilfoyle had been warned several times about her behavior by human resources, and that it was Rupert Murdoch himself who signed off on the decision to part ways with the longtime Fox News host after it was presented to him by the new CEO Suzanne Scott. Guilfoyle also shared sexual stories from her personal life with her assistant, according to sources. Guilfoyle's assistant was desperate to get away from Kimberly. She kept on trying to find a way to get a new job or get reassigned within the network, said one individual who knew the young woman. That woman was eventually transferred, said sources, and then put on paid leave after she hired an attorney to approach the network with complaints. It is reported in the HuffPost story that the decision to terminate Guilfoyle had been made before she even started dating Don Jr., but sources claims that Scott presented the idea to Murdoch after being appointed as CEO would seem to suggest otherwise. Don Jr. and Guilfoyle began dating in March, while Scott was named CEO on May 17, having served as president of programming for the network prior to that time. Multiple sources also addressed the question of whether or not Guilfoyle was fired by revealing that 21st Century Fox prefers that problematic employees retire or resign rather than be terminated. That practice allows for departing staff to line up a job and avoid any negative press that might befall themselves or the network. Gretchen Carlson is an example of that practice, with few noticing her exit until she filed a wrongful termination lawsuit 1 month later against Roger Ailes. In the wake of that lawsuit, Guilfoyle made it her job to rally the staff around Ailes, said sources. Those sources claim she did this by informing staff that they were either Team Gretchen or Team Roger, a scare tactic that proved effective since many assumed Ailes would never be fired from the company. She was not able, however, to convince Megyn Kelly or Meghan McCain to make a public statement, despite going to astonishing lengths. In the case of McCain, Guilfoyle said that the network would let her take the spot of Dana Perino the Five if she made a statement publicly supporting Ailes. McCain did not and is now at ABC doing The View, while Perino managed to outlast the woman who allegedly tried to give away her job and is still holding down the fort at The Five. Guilfoyle was also angered by Kelly's refusal to speak out, despite the fact that she had allegedly been a victim of Ailes' sexual harassment. She said that Kelly was widely disliked by the newsroom, according to one source, and suggested her silence about Ailes was the reason. Kelly has since left and gone to NBC. This behavior almost led to Lachlan Murdoch ousting Guilfoyle back in 2016. After Rupert's sons came in to deal with the post-Ailes cleanup at the network. Sources also claim that Guilfoyle was resentful of female hosts who had managed to land their own shows. 2 of those sources said as an example that the co-host of The Five once declared that Judge Pirro should not be on television because the former district attorney, who is 67, is too old. In addition to Pirro, sources said Guilfoyle also made no secret of her disdain for Kelly, while she was very public in denouncing Carlson after she filed her lawsuit against Ailes. Any accusations of Kimberly engaging in inappropriate workplace conduct are unequivocally baseless and have been viciously made by disgruntled and self-interested employees, said Guilfoyle's attorney John Singer in a statement to HuffPost. During her lengthy and decorated tenure with the company, Kimberly was beloved, well-respected, and supportive of anyone she ever met. It's utterly preposterous that there are those who are nefariously and greedily twisting innocent conversations amongst close friends into much more than what it actually was for financial gain. He then added, Kimberly has happily moved on to the next chapter of her life and hopes others will do the same. Fox News declined to comment. The news of Guilfoyle's departure first came on Friday with a brief and concise statement from Fox News. Fox News has parted ways with Kimberly Guilfoyle, said a spokesperson for the network. At the same time, a Fox News source had told DailyMail.com that Guilfoyle would not appear on The Fice that night and get to say goodbye after 12 years at the network. That was then confirmed an hour later, when The Five kicked off with Katie Pavlich filling in for Guilfoyle. Guilfoyle had long been one of Fox News' most loyal and dedicated employees. She was often one of the first and most vocal supporters of any co-worker or boss who is maligned in the press, having publicly gone to bat for both Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly at times when few supported the men. Those two were eventually let go by the network, and with the departure of Megyn Kelly, Greta Van Susteren, and Gretchen Carlson, Guilfoyle became one of the most senior female members of the Fox News family. She is now working with the pro-Trump PAC America First, 4 months after she started dating Donald Trump Jr. In the past few months, however, she has been getting more and more press for her life outside the office thanks to her relationship with Don Jr. It is a relationship that Guilfoyle believes could land her in the role of First Lady, a position she has some experience in after her first husband Gavin Newsom served as mayor of San Francisco. She said in an interview with Breitbart Radio that she believes Don Jr. has a future in politics, and that she is so happy to have finally got it right this time with her new boyfriend. Guilfoyle called Don Jr. the #1 up-and-coming political figure on the right, and said that he is the base. He has a compelling political voice, he is incredibly bright. I have seen him at these different rallies, explained Guilfoyle. He is a person that people can understand, he's very approachable. He is very relatable with his background and his interests. Most importantly, Guilfoyle said, is the fact that Donald Jr. is a man of the people. He actually puts the time in and the effort to understand the base, because he is the base, said the Fox News host. He gets out there and actually talks to the real people, the men and women who have been left behind in this country. There is a chance that Donald Trump Jr. could in fact get himself on the ballot for the election this November. The 7th District of New York, which encompasses parts of Brooklyn and Manhattan, has no Republican set to run in the race for a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. The political calendar released by the New York State Board of Elections reveals that a vacancy can be filled in a race up until September 19, and since no Republicans ran in the primary, that spot could be open for Don Jr. And Guilfoyle is very good on the campaign trail, as Newsom learned almost 20 years ago when he won his race for mayor. She continued to support him during his time in office too, with appearances on a number of high-profile programs. In fact, her remarks about Donald Jr. were incredibly similar to one she made back in 2004 about Newsom during an appearance on Charlie Rouse. He was very much interested in public service and had a keen mind just in terms of the political issues of the time, said Guilfoyle. I knew that he had the vision, the discipline and, as it turns out, the courage to be in politics and to do the right thing, so I'm really happy it worked out. That interview quickly turned into a counseling session, however, with the pair discussing their bicoastal lifestyles and the fact that they barely saw one another due to their careers. 2 years later they were divorced. Don Jr. and his wife Vanessa are currently in the process of divorcing. Havenf attended their first hearing on Thursday. The couple has 5 children, and Guilfoyle has an 11-year-old son from her second marriage to Eric Valency.